Hello everyone, welcome to yoga. Today we are working with the neck and the shoulders and their connection to the fingers. So we're going to use three things. We're going to use a strap belt. If you have a yoga belt, great. If not, you can use a large towel instead, or just a regular belt if it's long enough. If you do have a yoga block, that's perfect. You can also use a ball or even a book. And we're going to use the wall, so maybe set your mat up somewhere close to a wall. And then we're going to come lying down to start off with. This is a really quick sequence, so feel free to stop at any time and just adjust. Take a little bit longer if you need to. We're going to start with our arms wide and the feet on the mat here, and just take a moment to notice your shoulders. Notice the areas that your shoulders are at. Notice the connection to the neck. So where does the neck start, right? Where's that little connection point of the spine to the head? Then notice your shoulder blades on the mat. Notice if one shoulder is higher than the other. And we're going to start making fists with our hands, eventually making a really crunched face, engaging the muscles of the face. As you exhale, let everything go and feel the softness for a moment. Then bring the backs of your hands against the floor, pressing especially the thumb and index finger down. So the back of the thumb and index finger pressing down. Your shoulders are moving to the mat. Press your head down. Your neck, your chin is moving towards your neck. You're looking up. You take a breath or two, and then you release that. Good. Take a breath at center, releasing fingers, making sure you're really soft for a moment. So creating tension to release first. And then we're going to grab the block, the ball, the book. We're going to bring that item, whichever one it is, onto our belly and then try to find it with our elbows so we can hug it with our elbows, creating somewhat of a 90-degree angle between the forearms and the upper arms, and then starting to move the block, the ball, whatever it is, back and forward without changing the angle. So now we're just mobilizing gently. We're just kind of getting into the range of motion, and the block helps us to not move one arm faster than the other. We want to stay parallel and we want to stay engaged. Keep your belly moving in. We're going to do 3 repetitions and then take a break, just noticing, right? So if you do feel like you want to do more of these, that's great, but always taking 1 or 2 breaths in between each asana, each exercise we're doing. Reach the arms up now, reach the block, the ball above you and then behind you, only as far as your shoulders allow you. So be gentle here. If you do touch the floor, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. Coming back and forward a couple of times. As you inhale, reach up, you lengthen back behind you. As you exhale, you bring the block back forward. Now keep your navel pulling in so the lower back is safe here. Good. And then after the 3rd round, you're going to place the block down if you can. If not, you just keep pulling your fingers back behind you. Otherwise, press the block now down into the floor gently. And then bring it back, slowly lowering down. Set the block onto your belly for a moment. Open the arms once again. Release. Feel your breath. And then bring the block behind your thighs now. Press your thighs against the block. Flex your feet up towards the ceiling. Take a moment just to lengthen the back of your legs and let your shoulders come down to the mat. As you exhale, look up, roll up into seated. Good. We're going to switch gears here and move on from the block to the strap, to the belt, the towel. And then bring that pretty wide, especially if your shoulders are sensitive. Give yourself space here, and we're going to start just opening the fronts of the shoulders, pulling the strap back, slightly bending the elbows, and then just holding there and breathing, right? And you can again see I'm engaging my navel in, so I'm holding the tension at center, maybe bringing it a little bit lower behind me. Now the chin again is moving towards the chest, so we don't let the chin stick out forward. If you can, lower down all the way. If not, don't worry too much about that. And then start lifting back up again, slowly coming to that point where it feels hard to move, maybe taking a breath here, look up, and then exhale to round forward. Roll the shoulders forward consciously and soften for a moment. Breathe into your back, into that space between the shoulder blades. And then curl back up, shake your fingers, your wrists out from the strap, making sure you're not holding tension here now. And I like to shake it to all sides. That also kind of feels nice for the arms and shoulders. Good. Bring the strap to the side for a moment. Roll onto all fours now, coming into a tabletop position. You can bring the block close. We're going to start with the block in the left hand. And all we're going to do is we're going to reach it behind us as high as feels comfortable and then to the front. So we're moving it sideways 3 times, back and forth. Always lengthening with the inhale, exhale, reaching forward. Good. After the third round, you might want to start circling a little bit more. So now we're moving from forward and backward into a circular motion, 3 circles, and you can do more than I just did. 1 breath at center, cat-cow, maybe opening chest with your inhale, exhale, rounding back to neutral, and then shoulders rolling back after the third round of this one. Good. Just mobilizing it a little bit in between. Find your block, reach it back from the front, and then 3 times moving over the side, forward and back. Notice if this side feels different, and then also notice your left arm. Make sure your left arm is not sinking down. You're not sinking to the left shoulder as you're mobilizing the right one. And then you can start drawing circles again. 3 big circles in one direction, maybe more if that feels good. Set the block down, bring your hands down, and now come on to your forearms. Going a little bit more into the shoulders here now. Forearm cat-cow. Inhale, pulling the chest forward gently, collarbones wide, and exhale, rounding back. Space between the shoulder blades again. Let the head drop. Be gentle with your neck here. So stay relatively stable in your neck, and then crawl onto your hands again. Roll your shoulders now in one direction. That can feel weird if you do it for the first time. And then switch direction, rolling the other way around. Good. Elbows always slightly bend. Give yourself some space in your joints. And from here, step your right foot forward between your hands. Come into a lunge. Take a moment here. Bring your hands together at heart center. And then pull your hands back and down. And twist towards the right. As you bring your prayer down, you look over the left shoulder and you sink into the right hip flexor. So you turn your head away from your palms, and you should feel a nice stretch in your neck. If this is too much, don't turn the head. Come back to center. Bring your hands towards center. Bring your hands forward. Find your belt. Lift the belt up again. Give yourself space. Maybe pull your elbows behind you now. Hold here. Again, center stays strong. Core stays engaged. Reach up as you inhale. Turn and bend towards the right as you exhale. Inhale towards center. Exhale, bend towards the left. Breathing into the right, back to center. One more time, pull the strap back behind you. And now we're going to straighten the front leg. So the right leg straightens, and with our hands long and the arms long behind you, we're going to fold forward from our hip. Pressing the right heel down, moving the right hip back. Come back up. Lift the belt up. Exhale, slowly round forward. Bring the belt down. Take your time to step back into all fours. Coming back to tabletop, and again, mobilizing if that feels good. Rounding, opening with your breath. Cat-cow. I always bring them in between to make sure I'm not creating tension as I move. And then coming back to center. The left foot steps forward now. Give yourself space so you have your knee right on top of your ankle here. And then you bring your hands together in front of your heart. And again, lower your hands down a little bit and then twist towards the left. Starting with the gaze over the left shoulder and then turning the head towards the right, looking away from your hands as you sink low into your front knee. Feel the stretch on the left side of your neck here. Breathe into that stretch. And then turn back to center slowly. Let your hands come down to find the belt, reach it up, lengthen, and exhale. Pull the elbows back behind you now. Open the chest, open the front. Navel again pulling in, lower belly active. And then from here, reach up, side bend with your exhale towards the left. Inhale, center, exhale, side bend to the right. Stretch up, inhale, lengthen, pull back, exhale one more time, and then straighten the front leg. Left leg straightens. It's a little bit of a challenge for your balance. As you exhale, fold forward from your hips, pull the ends of the strap behind you. Look down, keep your neck long. And then bend back into the front knee, reach your strap up behind you and then forward. Place it down, step it back to all fours. And then from here, move your forearms down and start rolling the shoulders again. 3 rolls in one direction might feel pretty limited, and that's okay. We don't have to go all range of motion all the time. And then whenever you're finished, you're going to walk your hands forward and fold into puppy pose with your hips just above your knees and your heart melting towards the mat. You might need something to prop your head on, so you can use a block, you can use a folded blanket, or just leave your head hanging if that feels okay. Taking 3 breaths. Dropping the chest, melting your heart. Softening even the fingers. And if you feel like it, you can bring your palms together and then bringing your thumbs behind your head for a moment. Slowly crawl your hands back, come back up into all fours, and from here into kneeling. Now you can use your block, your ball, whatever you have. Place it between your thighs and then find your elbows behind you. Grab your elbows and press your elbows into your lower back as you pull your chin towards your throat and lengthen the neck again. Just working on your posture here, navel towards spine. Release that, and now we do the opposite. Pull your elbows away from you, press into the block, look up a little bit and come into a back bend. Now don't drop your head all the way, just look up a little bit and move your elbows away from you here gently. Stay with your breath, interlace your fingers, inhale now into a little bit of a bigger back bend. As you exhale, folding forward into rabbit pose, bring the crown of your head to the mat and let your knuckles come forward any amount. Again, gentle with your shoulders here. Take a breath or two. Roll back onto your forehead, lift back up as you inhale, open. And then bring your block underneath you to sit on for Virasana. And bring your hands together behind you and then onto the left side, outside of the left hip. Now, from here, your left ear is going to come towards your left shoulder, right shoulder melting down, and your chin, again, is not sticking out here. You can breathe into the right side of your neck for 2 or 3 breaths. Then make your way back to center, release your hands. Switch sides, I'm just going to show you from the other side. So hands go together behind the back, both hands to the outside of the right hip, right ear moving over to the right shoulder. Left shoulder lowers down, feel the stretch in the left side of the neck. And again, this is one of these things, the neck is super sensitive. So if this doesn't feel good, don't do it, right? You want it to feel nice and opening. You can send the breath into that area that's stretching. Then make your way back to center, release. And come into, from here, bring the block forward, press into the block, come into a squat, and lift your hips up, forward fold. Let your head be heavy for a moment, shake it out, yes and no a couple of times. Knees bend here, lower back safe. Good, and then bend your knees to come up with your hands on your hips, straight spine, into standing. Roll your shoulders in one direction a couple of times and then roll the other way if that feels good. And then I like to swing my arms forward and back and then cross in front. So you can see it here from the side, swinging back and forth, crossing in front, back and forth, crossing in front, just to kind of release. Swinging is very nice for the joints because there's nothing else. The muscles around the joints don't really have a chance but to release for a moment. It's kind of like you're surprising them a little bit. So now we're going to come to the wall. And as you can see here, I'm standing pretty far from the wall actually to start off with, to give my shoulders space as I start circling my arm in big circles alongside the wall. It might not feel like much to begin with, and that's totally fine. We want to be gentle here. After 3, 4, 5 circles even, you can come a little bit closer, bend your knees here, and then just take your left hand onto your hip and turn the gaze over the left shoulder as you turn open from here. So this is a gentle variation of what you can do on the floor as well when you roll over onto your shoulder. We're going to do this at the wall today. And then come back to center. After the opening of the chest, we're going to do the other side. Again, feel free to stay longer. Starting with 3-4 circles, easy circles with the hand on the wall, and you can go slower if anything feels tighter. Keeping the knees bent here. Coming a little bit closer to the wall now, and bring your hand behind you, maybe lower, maybe higher. You choose. Bend your knees and turn away from the wall. So I have my hand on shoulder height, and if this is too much, bring it lower. If you need more, bring it higher. But again, be really careful. Stay here for 1, 2, or 3 breaths, opening the chest. This is a muscle that gets really tight most cases just from sitting on a computer, just from sitting, from rolling the shoulders forward. Check your hands out. Come to the end of your mat again. Lift your arms up, stretch long, and as you exhale, bend your knees to fold forward. Make space on your mat as you climb forward into a downward facing dog, just to make your way into a plank, lowering your knees down, and then finding your way onto your belly here. Lying on your belly, one palm on top of the other. Roll your shoulders back, bring your elbows down, Sphinx pose. Open your legs as far as feels comfortable, and if your lower back doesn't like that, walk your hands forward. Look down towards your navel and look up. Look over the left shoulder, center. Look over the right shoulder. Good. And then from your Sphinx, lower down again. Find your strap behind you now, and this can be about hips distance apart with your hands, or it can be wider. You're going to start lifting your left arm up as you look over the left shoulder, hips pressing down. Exhale, center. Inhale, right arm lifts. You're looking over the right shoulder. Exhale, lower down. Bring both arms, both legs up now, and keep breathing here. 3 breaths. Pull your shoulders away from your ears as you look down, as you pull your chin in. Active legs, active arms. Lower down as you exhale. Make a pillow for your head and rest for a moment. Breathing in and out of your belly. And then from here, you can just slowly, gently roll your way onto your back with your feet on the mat and your arms wide. Drop your knees to the right, maybe looking over to the right just for a moment before you roll your gaze to the left. Right shoulder heavy. Knees to center now, and then drop your knees to the left. Look over to the right, then turn your head to the left. Right shoulder heavy. Again, creating space in the front of your chest. Knees coming up. And then cross your arms in front of you. Right arm over left. Notice how this feels. Maybe give yourself a hug and move your elbows up towards your face for a moment. Lower the elbows back down. Release your fingers. Keep the crossing of the elbows for a moment. So now we're moving the shoulder blades away from each other again in a gentle way. And then open the arms wide before you cross the other arm on top. See how this feels. Maybe find your elbows with your hands and lift your elbows towards. Find your shoulders with your hands, and lift your elbows up. Release your fingers. Stay in this gentle fold with your elbows. And then release your arms again. Feel the space. Maybe stretch your legs out if your lower back is fine here. Close your eyes for a moment or two and just notice again. Just come back to awareness for that area that you might have tension in. Still, maybe you feel a little bit lighter. Maybe you feel more space now. Maybe your shoulders are heavier now. Notice the back of your neck, the front of your throat. Notice your breath. Let go of any conscious breath. And stay in Shavasana, relaxation, for as long as feels good here. So give your muscles time to soften, to relax, before you make your way back up here, rolling over one side. Whenever you're ready, you're going to sit up very carefully, maybe rolling your shoulders back a couple of times, bringing your palms together. And thank you so much for joining this class. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Namaste.